If you're looking for job security as you transition into IT, GovTech is definitely the way to go.
In this video, we're going to talk about why you should transition into GovTech and why it's one of the most stable ways to break into IT.
So the reason why I say GovTech equals job security is for many reasons. But the first thing is, let's start by saying that getting into IT through GovTech is usually a lower barrier to entry, especially if you have a security clearance, for example, or you're willing to start with a security plus, or you're willing to start pretty low in terms of pay, because there is a lot of job opening for the entry level. That's the first thing I want to make sure you understand. And the job security comes from the fact that, let's say you have your security clearance. Your security clearance is for you to have. It's not attached to the government agency you work with. That means you can transition.
You can carry it over from agency to agency, or even from a field or job into another job. Like, it's common to see security officers, like physical security officers. They end up having a security clearance because, let's say, they work in a building that has many sensitive roles, and then they upskill, so they learn tech skills or something like that, and then they take their existing clearance into these new roles.
Yeah, and also the difference between salary, because the general notion is private companies pay better. It's actually not necessarily the case. Private companies sometimes have better perks and benefits that's not salary. But when we're talking about salary and other kinds of solid benefits, the GovTech industry is right there with private companies.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure that's clear, because there is a misconception. You know, it's
also the risk of getting laid off. It's just not there with the government.
Exactly, because the last place you're gonna see layoff is in the government, for a simple reason. If the government starts laying off people, that means, you know, we are in trouble. Yeah. So they make sure they keep their employees, because they don't want to send the wrong message to the marketplace.
Yeah. On top of that, IT jobs. So I'm not talking about programmers or anything. I'm talking about IT jobs. So basically, system administrator, cloud admins, and engineer. We're technically considered essential personnel in government agencies, because what we do helps these organizations carry out their jobs. So let's say if we work for the National Library of Medicine, all that institution does is serve a catalog of medical research to the world. If those websites are not up and running, that institution is not delivering the service it's meant to be offering. If we work for the patent office and people can't go through the process of registering a patent because the systems are down, the government loses millions of dollars per minute.
Yeah, and not only they lose money per minute, they lose credibility as the government.
Yep.
And like you said, we are essential.
We help the organization.
We are essential workers. That means even when people are getting furloughed, you are the last to go.
Yes.
So again, that's all to show you that stability is the name of the game when you get into GovTech. That's why I talk about having a job for life. It's not necessarily with the same government agency. It's the fact that your situation is very stable. You can take your credential, you can take your security clearance and move to another government agency and still have that stability. Yeah. These are the reasons.
And in general, government jobs have very low rotation. They do the same thing for a longer period of time. Like, the pace of government jobs is considerably slower than a corporate job.
And another thing is that because it's the government, especially for cloud, now I'm talking specifically to people considering cloud. A lot of cloud jobs nowadays are being outsourced, okay, to other countries where the cost of living is lower. Guess what the government can do? The government cannot outsource its work. Yep. So they must hire in the US.
Yep.
So if you're trying to get into cloud, get a GovTech cloud job is your best bet.
Especially at an entry level.
Especially at an entry level.
Yep.
So this is the only place where they cannot outsource their job. So you good there. And also, if you already have a security clearance, being able to get a job there is easier because now you just need to add the technical training on top of it.
Yep, you need to upskill.
You are set for life because that security clearance can keep on renewing and renewing until you retire. So definitely, if you're looking for job security, if you're looking for stability as you transition into IT, GovTech is the way to go.